You might have a silent fortune sitting in your change jar right now, and you have no idea. I'm serious. Check your pocket now. Because today on US MintX, we're exposing two ultra-rare Franklin half dollars that look completely ordinary. But collectors are fighting over them in real auctions. Nobody talks about these. People are spending them every single day like they're just 50 cents, and it's painful to watch. These coins carry hidden wealth, real auction shock, and if you miss the details I'm about to show you, you could literally spend a life-changing opportunity at a gas station. Do not spend these coins. The first one is already insane, but the second, rarer, scarier, worth even more. Stay with me, this changes everything. Coin number 1. Before I even tell you the value, I need you to picture this. It's 1948, America is exhausted. The war is over, but the pressure isn't. Factories are shifting. The economy is recalibrating. Veterans are coming home. The country is trying to breathe again. And quietly, without headlines, the very first year of a brand new half-dollar design is being struck in Denver. Now imagine that very first year coin, surviving untouched, aging naturally, developing deep gray layered toning, sitting somewhere unnoticed. And today, it's worth $169,000. This is not fiction. The 1948D Franklin half dollar is the birth year of the Franklin series. First year, first strike, first opportunity, and collectors are obsessed with firsts. But here's what most people miss. 1948 wasn't just another date. It was a national transition year. Post-World War II economic adjustment created pressure inside US. Mint facilities. Production numbers were controlled. Equipment was still recovering from wartime intensity. Dies were reused longer than they should have been. And when a new design launches under that kind of stress, imperfections happen. Variations happen. Scarcity begins at birth. The Denver Mint struck this coin with the small D mint mark on the reverse, just above the Liberty Bell near the rim. That tiny letter, it changes everything. Look at the front, the obverse, and you see Benjamin Franklin facing right. Calm, composed, intelligent, his hair detailed in fine lines that fade quickly on worn pieces. The word liberty arcing across the top. In God we trust, split across left and right fields. And the date? 1948, anchored at the bottom. Flip it over. The reverse is bold. The Liberty Bell dominates the center, with its famous crack visible, sharp on higher-grade examples, soft on worn ones. To the right of the bell sits that small but powerful D mint mark. United States of America across the top. Half dollar at the bottom. E pluribus unum floating above the bell. Now here's where it gets serious. This coin is composed of 90% silver and 10% copper. It weighs approximately 12.5 grams. Diameter, 30.6 millimeters. Thickness, about 2.15 millimeters. The girth feels substantial in the hand, heavier than modern coins, dense with real metal. When you hold it, it feels like history. Cold, solid, intentional. But weight alone doesn't create value. Survival does. Most 1948D Franklin halves entered circulation immediately. They were spent, dropped into jukeboxes, exchanged at grocery stores, tossed into drawers. Silver content meant many were later melted when bullion prices spiked. Others were cleaned by well-meaning owners who had no idea they were destroying microscopic surface integrity. And that's the tragedy. Because original condition is everything. The coin we're talking about, very good condition with natural gray layered toning, is exactly what collectors hunt. That antique gray surface isn't dirt. It's decades of slow, even oxidation. It tells a story. It proves originality. Never clean this coin. I don't care if it looks dark. I don't care if someone tells you it would shine better. Cleaning destroys value forever. Once those original layers are stripped, the silent fortune vanishes. Collectors can spot a cleaned surface instantly. Unnatural brightness, hairline scratches, dull, lifeless luster. It's irreversible damage. And here's where the obsession kicks in. First-year Franklins carry emotional gravity. They represent the start of a short-lived series that ran only from 1948 to 1963 before the Kennedy half-dollar replaced it. That limited lifespan compresses demand. Every serious Franklin collector must own a 1948, and many specifically want the Denver issue. Now add rarity in preserved condition. Most surviving examples show heavy wear. The high points, Franklin's cheek, jawline, hair above the ear, wear down quickly. On the reverse, the Liberty Bell's horizontal lines fade. The bell lines are critical. Full, sharp lines increase desirability dramatically. Collectors fixate on tiny details. The sharpness of the bell lines, the clarity of the mint mark, the depth of original toning, even the texture inside the fields. And when one appears with beautiful gray layered surfaces, auctions go quiet, then aggressive. Bidding doesn't start loud. It creeps. 2 collectors recognize the quality. Then 3. Then the price jumps in seconds. Because supply is shrinking. Many early Franklins are locked away in long-term collections. Owners aren't selling. They're holding. They understand that demand rises while available examples disappear. Professional grading is critical here. Authentication, condition verification, surface analysis, all of it matters. A certified example commands trust, and trust commands serious money. $169,000. Let that sit with you. That is hidden wealth disguised as 50 cents. And here's the dangerous part. This coin doesn't scream rarity. To the untrained eye, it looks old, gray, worn, ordinary. That's how fortunes get spent. Most people miss this. They see discoloration and assume damage. They see wear and assume low value. They don't check the mint mark. They don't think about first-year production pressure. They don't understand how many were melted. So they spend it. Do not spend this coin. Check the reverse for that small D. Examine the surfaces under soft light. Look for original gray toning, not artificial shine. Feel the weight, that 12.5 grams of silver history. Measure the diameter if you have calipers, 30.6 millimeters. Thickness around 2.15 millimeters. These physical details confirm authenticity. And be patient. Patience creates wealth in coin collecting. Rushing to sell raw without grading can cost you tens of thousands. Cleaning it to improve appearance can erase a life-changing opportunity. This detail changes everything. The year 1948 is not just a number. It marks the birth of a design that never lasted long enough. First-year emotional demand plus Denver scarcity plus surviving originality equals serious money. You're not just holding silver, you're holding a silent fortune. But if you think this is shocking, what comes next is even bigger. The second Franklin half-dollar on this list makes this one look common, rarer, harder to find, and even more dangerous to ignore. Stay with me. Next up, let me ask you something that might make your stomach drop. Have you ever ignored a coin because it looked stained? Gray, brown spots, slightly uneven color, and you assumed it was damaged? Because if you ever did that with a 1962 Franklin half-dollar with no mint mark in uncirculated condition, you might have accidentally overlooked $135,000. Yeah, let that sink in. This isn't some ancient colonial coin. This isn't buried pirate treasure. This is 1962. Your parents remember it. Some of you were alive in it. And yet this quiet piece of silver from that year has turned into hidden wealth, a kind collector's chase in silence. And here's why this year matters more than people realize. 1962 was tension, Cold War pressure, the United States standing at the edge of something nuclear. Just months before the Cuban Missile Crisis would freeze the world in place. The economy was stable on the surface, but underneath, the nation was shifting. Silver demand was rising. Coin production was heavy. The mint was pushing to meet circulation needs before silver shortages became critical in the coming years. And when production pressure rises, small variables slip through. The 1962 Franklin half-dollar was struck in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver. But here's the detail most people miss. No mint mark means Philadelphia. And Philadelphia coins from the early 1960s were struck in massive numbers. Yet pristine, uncirculated survivors with original surface integrity are shockingly scarce today. Because they were used hard. Franklin halves were workhorse coins. Casinos, banks, grocery stores. They weren't saved like pennies or dollars. And by 1965, when silver was removed from circulating coinage, millions of earlier halves were melted for bullion. So finding a 1962 with no mint mark that never truly circulated, that's different. Now look at the coin itself. On the obverse, Benjamin Franklin's profile stares right. Bold, intellectual, unmistakable. The word liberty stretches across the top edge. In God we trust wraps along both sides of his shoulder. And the date, 1962, sits clean and centered at the bottom. In uncirculated condition, Franklin's hair detail is razor sharp. His cheek is smooth but not flat. The luster flows like light across water when tilted. Flip it over. The Liberty Bell dominates the reverse. Strong vertical and horizontal lines. The famous crack visible near the bottom. United States of America along the top. $half below. Ania pluribus unum above the bell. And in this case, no mint mark. That empty space beside the bell tells you it was struck in Philadelphia, the original mint. That absence is powerful. Now let's talk physical presence. This coin weighs 12.5 grams. That's solid 90% silver and 10% copper. Real metal, not modern plated filler. The diameter measures 30.6 millimeters. Thickness sits around 2.15 millimeters. When you hold it, the girth feels substantial, wider and heavier than today's coins. It has gravity. It feels important. But what truly separates this coin? The gray and brown, spotted toning. Most people panic when they see spots. They think corrosion, damage, dirt. Collectors see originality. Those gray and brown patches are natural silver toning, the result of decades of slow oxidation, reacting with air, paper envelopes, bank rolls, vault storage. In uncirculated condition, those tones sit on top of untouched mint luster. That combination is rare, because most uncirculated coins were either dipped to make them bright or improperly stored and damaged. Original toning matters. It proves the coin hasn't been stripped, polished, or chemically altered. And I need to say this clearly. Never clean this coin. Never wipe it. Never try to improve the color. Cleaning destroys value forever. Once that natural surface is disturbed, the microscopic flow lines from the mint vanish. And with them, the silent fortune. Collectors can detect cleaning instantly. Under magnification, hairline scratches appear. The shine becomes unnatural. The depth disappears. And when that happens, six-figure potential collapses. Now here's what drives demand. By 1962, the Franklin series was nearing its end. It would only last one more year before being replaced in 1964 by the Kennedy half-dollar after President Kennedy's assassination. That looming transition adds emotional weight to late-date Franklins. Collectors building high-grade sets need pristine 1,962 examples. And finding one without wear, especially with strong bell lines on the reverse, is difficult. The Liberty Bell's horizontal lines are everything. If they are fully struck and uninterrupted, the coin enters an elite category. Strike sharpness combined with original toning and no circulation wear, that's where serious money enters the room. Auction rooms don't explode loudly for coins like this. They tighten. Two advanced collectors lock in. They've been waiting months, maybe years. They recognize the surface, the preservation, the originality. Bidding climbs. Quiet at first, then aggressive. $135,000 is not hype. It's market behavior driven by scarcity and obsession. And here's the scary part. Most of these coins are still sitting in drawers. Old bank rolls, inherited collections, safety deposit boxes that haven't been opened in decades. People see a 1,962 half-dollar and assume it's common. They don't check for wear carefully. They don't examine the bell lines. They don't understand that uncirculated plus original toning plus no cleaning equals hidden wealth. So they spend them. Or worse, they polish them. Do not spend this coin. If you find one, first check for a mint mark. No mint mark means Philadelphia. Then tilt it under soft light. Look for uninterrupted luster. Check Franklin's cheek for flatness. Examine the Liberty Bell lines closely. If they are full and strong, your heart should start racing. Then stop. Do not clean it. Do not store it loosely. Professional grading is critical. Authentication and condition confirmation from a respected grading service can be the difference between hundreds of dollars and six figures. Patience creates wealth here. Rushing to sell raw without certification leaves money on the table. Mishandling it leaves permanent regret. And here's what makes this coin emotionally powerful. It represents the final chapter of an American era before silver vanished from everyday change. It's one of the last full silver half-dollars Americans casually spent without thinking twice. Today, you're holding 90% silver history that most people ignore. Demand is rising. Supply is shrinking. High-grade survivors are locked away. Collectors aren't selling, they're holding. They understand what late-series original Surface Franklins mean long-term. This is serious money disguised as pocket change. This is a life-changing opportunity hiding in plain sight. And if you think these two Franklin halves are the peak of what's quietly circulating, you're not ready for what's coming next on US MintX. Because there are coins out there right now, smaller, lighter, easier to miss, worth even more. And most people are spending them without a second thought.